So this is not in the book, but is a very important concept. So it says that the goods in a consumption bundle cannot be all inferior. Okay, the mathematics we use in economics, at least at this level, sometimes you have to manipulate the formula a little bit. Okay, so let me show you how. So because it says that the goods in a consumption bundle cannot be all inferior, so how to tell if a good is inferior or normal is by elasticity of income, right? Income elasticity. So we have batch constraint px times x plus py times y is equal to m, right? So this is the batch constraint. And because the concept is related to inferior or normal, so that's income, right? So because of that, we know we have to treat income as a variable. So we're going to differentiate with respect to m. And because price of x and price of y is determined by the market, so basically it's a constant. So we have px times dx dm plus py times dy dm, is equal to 1. Okay? Differentiate the whole equation with respect to m. Questions? Okay. And, you know, because in this case we want to tell whether this good is normal or inferior. So the idea is using income elasticity. So we have to manipulate this equation a little bit. So we rearrange it like this. So px times dx dm, and then times mx and xm plus py times dy dm, and then m over y and y over m is equal to 1. Okay, because you times x and divide by x times m divided by m, what do you get? 1, right? So here is 1. The same thing here, m, y, y, m, so it is 1. So there's actually no change for the whole equation. But can you tell what is here? This is income elasticity of m, okay? And this is income elasticity of y. So what do we have? We have px times x, okay, divided by m, and then you have elasticity, income elasticity of x. And then here you have py times y divided by m. Here you have income elasticity, Okay, so here, dx, so what's income elasticity? Income elasticity, the change in income, percentage change in income, and you get percentage change in consumption. Okay, so here is the change in quantity, right? Here is change in income. So here it is what? It is, so dx, dm, and then m over x. Okay? So here is the elasticity. Sorry, it should be this part. Sorry. Right? Okay? No. Sorry, because I put it into different order. So here you get elasticity, okay? And here you get elasticity. And so here is m, right? And here's py times y, so it's there, py times y, m. And here you have px times x divided by m. Okay? So what is this? This is the proportion of your income spent on x. Okay? Here, it is the proportion of your income spent on x. So let us say share x. And here's share y. So share x, okay? Here is income elasticity of x. And here is a share of y. And income elasticity of y is equal to 1. Okay, remember what we are going to discuss is this part, right? This is a statement. The goods in a consumption bundle cannot be all inferior, okay? So why? If it is inferior, okay? 所以说, if it is inferior, what would be this one? What would be the value of this one? Positive or negative? Negative. And if it is inferior, what will be here? Positive, negative? Negative. So you see that? If the goods in the consumption bundle are all inferior, it means that this will be negative, right? And here it has to be non-negative, positive or zero, right? So if the goods in your consumption bundle are all inferior, it will be negative, negative. So this part will be negative. Can it be equal to 1? No. So because of that, we know that the goods in the consumption bundle cannot be all inferior. And suppose you have two goods is like this. Suppose you have n goods. It will be like this. So share of the first good, okay, and the income elasticity of first good. And share the proportion of income you spend on the second good, and you have elasticity, income elasticity of the second one, and plus the share of the nth good, okay, and the income elasticity of nth good is equal to 1. Okay? So we can do something like this. This part will be in the final, okay? This question will be in the final. So I will give you information about how much as a percentage you spend on so many goods, okay? And then I give you income elasticity, okay? And there will be one missing. And then I will ask you what's the good of this, what's the property of this good? So it is inferior or normal. Okay? So it is an application of this simple formula. So in economics, if you can use calculus, that's good, just like this one, right? The proof is very easy. But you don't necessarily have to use calculus. If you don't have calculus, you don't know calculus, still you can prove this. Okay? Let me show you how. Okay, so this is the budget line. Okay, this is the budget line. And we suppose, okay, we suppose all inferior. Okay, we suppose all inferior. So it means x and y inferior. Okay, so how to work that out? Suppose your income goes up. Okay, your income goes up. So you have income goes up by certain amount, right? And so px is here, and then py is here. Remember, we are talking about inferior good. Okay, remember we are talking about inferior good. So if it is inferior good, income goes up, your purchase goes down. Okay, income goes up, your purchase goes down. So let us say the quantity of x would be x1, okay, and the quantity of y would be y1. Okay? But here, we want to make sure that whether this equation holds. Okay, so we know that on the right-hand side, you have increase in income, right? And this is the changes in the left-hand side. Okay, can anyone tell me Let me check. Cho Guangming, can you tell me what's the relationship between x1 and x? Which one is larger? Now we have increase in income. Okay? X and x1, which one is larger? X. Because income goes up, your purchase goes down, right? And what about here? The same thing. Because your income goes up, your purchase goes down. So what happened? Right? So in this case, it is a contradiction. Okay, contradiction means it doesn't agree because the equation no longer holds. Okay? Because now income goes up. Suppose you are a rational consumer, you will spend all of your income, right? But because your assumption is that X and Y are all inferior, so now this one doesn't hold. So means what? This consumer is not a rational consumer. So contradiction. So this is not true. Okay? And let us assume that the income goes down. Okay? So if income goes down, say minus delta M, right? Then again we have Px times x2 plus Py times y2. And now we are comparing this one with this one. Okay? So Lin Yuyang, not here. Huang Qianxun. Okay. Can you tell us what's the relationship between x and x2, y and y2? And remember, we talk about x and y. Okay, they are all inferior. Okay, they are all inferior. So what happened here? What's the relation between x and x2? Which one is larger? And remember, x and y are all inferior. Excuse me? Which one is larger? x2 and x1. Which one is larger? x2. Okay? Because income goes down, right? Income goes down, you buy more. Okay? The same thing here. Income goes down, you buy more. So what happened? So does it make sense? It doesn't. Because a rational consumer will spend all of his income, but not more, right? So either way, you can use calculus to prove it. Okay, that's very concise. Okay, but also you can use reasoning here. Okay, so the same thing you can prove. The consumption, the goods in a consumption bundle cannot be all inferior, because if it is all inferior, what happened? There will be contradiction. Okay, questions? Okay, then we will get to intertemporal consumption. Let me see which one. Intertemporal consumption. Yeah, let's get to intertemporal consumption. So when we discuss x and y, right, we are talking about choose x and y at the same time. Okay? But now we are talking about choosing consumption at different times. And I remember that before the end of midterm, we discussed future value and present value. Okay? So now we are facing a different kind of budget constraint. So we choose consumption at period 1 and consumption at period 2. And we also assume that this person has income at 2 periods. So the first period will be Y1, the second period will be Y2. Okay, so let's get to budget constraint first. So here is your income, Y1 and Y2, that's at second period. So you have to discount it to get the present value there. And also you have, C1 plus C2, 1 plus R. So in this case, you have several choices. But we assume that this person only lives 2 periods. So at the second period, you have to, suppose you borrow money. Okay, if you borrow money at the first period, you have to pay it back at second period. And if you save money, okay, you lend money to others, then in second period, you will spend it all. Okay? So basically, we have a diagram like this. So here is C1, here is C2, okay? And the difference is that we have a budget line, but then we have an endowment point. This is called endowment point. Endowment point means that's what you have. So you have Y1 here, Y2 here. Okay? Okay, let's try to get to the slope of the budget line. So you have C1 plus C2, 1 plus R. Here is your income, Y1 plus Y2, 1 plus R. Then C2 is equal to negative 1 plus R, C1 plus 1 plus R, Y1 plus Y2, 1 plus R. Okay. So you can tell this is the slope. Okay, this is the slope. So here is the slope. What is this slope? It's negative 1 plus R. Okay? What does that mean? That means if the interest rate is high, this one is steep. Okay? And we talked about this before. We say if budget line is steep, okay, if the budget line is steep, it means the horizontal good is more expensive. Okay? And here that's the same thing. If you really care about now, okay, if you really care about now, you will borrow a lot of money to consume now because there's no tomorrow. Okay? And so in this case, here, if it is steep, it means you care about now, or the interest rate is very high. But then you want to make sure that to tell the difference. Suppose we have one person, so let me. Okay, suppose this person choose to consume at this point. And let's say another person choose to consume at this point. So can you tell me what's the difference? Zhang Bochang. So this is the income for this person, okay, Y1 and Y2. So if the person chooses at this point, what does he do? He borrow money or he lends money? So when we say lend, actually the other word is save. Okay? At point 1, what is this person? He's a borrower or a lender?
Lender.
He's a lender?
I think so.
Okay. Here is his income, right? Y1 is his income.
Yeah.
And C1 is his consumption. So he has income and he also spends. He spends more than he earns, or he earns more than he spends.
Yeah.
He consumes more than he earns. So he is a borrower. He borrows money, right? Because this is the amount he makes. Let us say $10,000. But then he spent extra $5,000, right? Okay, so here he borrows money. Okay? What about this one? Because he makes so much, right? But he only consumes this much. So he is a saver, right? He's a saver. Or he lends money to others. Okay? So be careful here. I want to tell you something that's twisty, but it is very important here. Okay, if a person, let me put it down here. If a person, borrows money, okay? If interest rate goes down, he will continue to borrow. Okay? Because of what? Because there are two effects. The first one is income effect. Okay? The second one is substitution effect. Remember income effect, substitution effect? When we talk about X and Y, we talk about that before. And then here is the same thing. But the only difference is that we are talking about R, interest rate, okay? If interest rate goes up, okay? If interest rate goes up, what does that mean? Okay? If it is in macroeconomics, okay, macro, of course this class is micro, okay? If it is in macroeconomics, you will see if interest rate goes up, consumption will go down, and investment will go down, right? Okay, that's in macro, okay? And if interest rate goes down, consumption will go up, investment will go up. That is in macroeconomics. But here we are talking about microeconomics. So we have income effect and also we have substitution effect. That's important. Okay, so here, let us say we use interest rate goes down, okay? If interest rate goes down, for substitution effect, okay, substitution effect. Here, interest rate goes down, you pay less to borrow money, okay, you pay less to borrow money, so that means consumption will go up, okay? And if interest rate, so here, if interest rate goes down, okay, substitution effect, consumption will go up. And also, interest rate here goes up, substitution effect, then consumption will go down. Okay? The only difference is income effect. The only difference is income effect. Here, if you are a borrower, you borrow money. You have to pay interest payment, right? You borrow money. But here, if interest rate goes down, what happens? Your costs go down, right? Your costs go down. So it means your income goes up, right? Your income goes up. So what happened? You will continue to borrow. But be careful here. We don't say he will borrow more. No, we say he will continue to borrow, but we don't say he will borrow more. He will continue to borrow, because if he continue to borrow, his welfare, right? His utility, his satisfaction will be up. Okay. Okay. So on the other side. Okay, because I have eraser, so I can do this. If a person lends money to others, if a person lends money to others, okay, and if interest rate goes up, he will continue to lend. And the reason is very simple, right? Because if this person lends money to others, interest rate goes up, what happened to his income? He get more interest payment, right? And so he will continue to lend to others. But do we say he will lend more? No. Okay? Okay. Now we are going to draw a chart, okay, to distinguish between substitution effect and income effect. Okay. So let me try this. Hold on. We need to talk about, the shipments of the line. How does it ship? Okay, so we have the same thing here. C1, C2, 0. Okay? The difference is very simple. When we talk about goods X and Y, okay, if the income goes up, the whole line ships parallelly out, right? And if your income goes down, ship parallelly in. And if goods of X, the price of X goes up, so you will move inside, okay, become steeper. If goods of X, the price goes down, you can buy more. So basically, that's the same thing. But here, if interest rate goes up, okay, what happened? If interest rates go up, here will be like a pivoting point. Okay, you rotate it, and so the interest rate goes up because here is your income. Okay, here's your income. You always go through this point. It always goes through this point. So this is interest goes up, and it moves flatter, interest rate goes down. Okay? And suppose you have more income in the first period, what happened? It will move parallel out. Okay? If you, for some reason that your income gets cut, so then the budget line will move parallel in. Okay? So now we are trying to draw a chart to tell you what's the substitution effect and the income effect. Okay, so let us say we are going to say this person is like this. Okay, so this is IC1 and here is 1. Okay? And so what is this person? 沈若凡. So what is this person? He's a saver or he's a borrower? This person is a saver or borrower. He lends money to others or he borrows money from others. Which one? Qiu Guanmin. This person borrows money from others or lends money to others?
He's a saver.
He's a saver, so he lends money to others. Okay? So here, so here's, sorry. Okay, suppose we want to figure out, okay, how much he can consume in period 2. Okay, let's try. So because in the first period, he only consumes C1, right? So what does that mean? It means he saves Y1 minus C1, okay? So Y1 minus C1, that's the amount he saves, okay? And for this amount he saves, what he can get in the second period, because this is the principal, okay? And when you get to the next year or next period, you get the same amount with interest payment. So that would be 1 plus R. And because in the second period, he makes Y2, right? This is the amount he makes. So this is the consumption he can get at C2. Okay? Let me try this again. So this person in the first period only consumes C1. Okay? So that means he saves this amount of money. Oh, this is the amount of money he saves. And this is the amount of money when it gets to the next period, you get principal plus interest payment, right? Principal plus interest payment. And then in the second period, he makes Y2, right? So this is the amount of consumption. So if I ask you a question, how much is the amount he lends to others? So this would be the answer, right? This is the amount he lends to the others. And when I ask you another question, say, how much can he consume? He can consume at C2, that is the amount he saves, and plus the amount he makes. Okay? Okay, then we are going to talk about substitution effect and income effect. This is also a question in the midterm. So we talk about this, right? If you want to measure substitution effect, the income has to be the same. Okay? If you want to measure substitution effect, the income has to be the same. And in this case, we use Hicks. So you have to add new budget line tangent to the original indifference curve. Okay, but at a different price. So this is the old budget line, right? And this is the new budget line. So you want to measure substitution effect. You need to have a budget line that is parallel to the new price, but tangent to the original indifference curve. Okay, so let's try here. Oh, sorry, I haven't, tried this. I haven't get the second indifference curve. So it can be anywhere. So let us try here. Okay. So indifference curve 2. So value is 2, okay? So we have a new budget line. Okay, let me try here. Okay, anyway.